Practical Science, Physics, chapter number first, Electric Charges and Fields. In this video, we have to understand about the basic concept of the electric charge and fields. Then we have to understand about the basic concept of electric charges. Then conductor, insulator, and semiconductors. Then we have to understand about the charging by the induction. Then we have to uh, learn about the basic properties of the electric charge, and then finally in this video we have to learn and mathematically the derivations of the Coulomb's law. So basic introductions about this chapter, that we already observe some phenomena into the daily to daily routine life. As we know that there is some sparks or hearing some crackles when we take off our synthetic clothes or a sweater, particular into the dry weather. So as we already know about that, when into the winter seasons, when we are removing our jacket or sweaters, there is something crackles or a spark will be happening. So that phenomena, which is nothing but that is only because of the static charge. Also, into the when there is some ladies garment like saris which are made from the polyester material, then that is also same phenomena will be happen. There is something spark or hearing some crackle. So there is another phenomena of the this static charge that will be regarding about the lightning into the sky. So the why this is happening ultimately, the only the one reason is that that is the static electric charge. Because of that static electric charges, this sparking or hearing something crackle will be happening. So in this video, we have to learn about the electric charge as well as the what will be happen when the two charges they are near to the each other, and what are the force between them, that we also have to learn. Then also we have to learn about the how to make a positively charge and how to make another one which is the negatively charge. Now the basic things about the electric charge that we have to understand using this figure. So as soon as you figure, there is ultimately two rods, two glass rod, where one glass rod which is the positively charged and another glass rod which is also positively charged. But the another charge glass rod which is the tilt using the thread. So when, as we know that when the two positively charged which are the together, when we together, then this there will be the repulsion between them. So as soon as what we observe over here, if two glass rods rub with the wool or a silk cloth and they are brought to close to each other, then there will be the repel to each other. So obviously, as soon as you figure A, here the glass rod which is the positive, also this is also positive. So that is the repulsion between them. So this concept ultimately we have to understand using the magnets, bar magnets. If the bar magnet which are the one bar magnet which is the north pole and another bar magnet which is also north pole, then there is the repulsion between them, between their bar magnets. Similarly, when if the one pole of the bar magnet which is the north and another one which is the south, then there will be the attraction between them. So that same concept we have to apply over here in terms of the electric charge. When the two charges are the same, then there will be the repulsion, and obviously as soon as you figure B, this is our negatively charged, another one which is also negatively charged, so there is also repulsion between them. That means what will be happening, so when this rod which is brought to near to the rod, so there is the away from this another word, that means we can say as a repulsion between them. But as soon as you figure number C, the plastic rod which is the negatively charged and another one this is the positively charged, so what will be happen, this rod will be attract, there is the attraction between them. So that's why this rod directions will be the in as shown into the figure. So what are our conclusion over here? Like charge, if we have the large like charge, that means what? If both are the positive positive, then that will be say as a like charge, as well as the if both rods are the negative negative, that is also shown as a like charge. And these like charge which are the repel to each other, and if there are the unlike charge, that means one which is the positive, second one which is the negative, then there will be the attraction between them. So as well as the as shown in figure D, so that is the negatively charged, as well as over here there is also negatively charged. So there will be the repulsion between them. Another charge which is positively charged, second one that is also positively charged. So that's why that will be the repulsion. Now as shown in figure number F, so over here there is the negative and another one which is the positive. So as we know the basic concept about the electric charge now, so there will be the attraction between them. We can observe into the figure number F. So this is all about the basics about the electric charge. So there is mainly two types of the charges. One that is known as a positively charged, and another one that is negatively charged. That is given by the American scientist Benjamin Franklin. As well as there is another thing is that when we add the positive numbers to the negative number of the same magnitude, then their sum will be zero. So over here we are taking some example. Suppose we have plus 10 coulomb positively charged, and as well as we have minus 10 coulomb negatively charged. Both are the same magnitude, plus 10 plus both are the magnitude will be magnitude is same 10 and 10, but both are the having a opposite to each other. That means positive, that means plus, negative, that means minus. So if we are adding them, so that will be the zero. Now we have to understand the concept about the conductor, insulator, and semiconductor. In the simple definitions about the conductor, the current can easily flow through the any material. Any material, that means the current easily flow through the particular material, we can say. Almost most types of mostly all kinds of metal which are say as a conductors. Over here there is some example: silver, gold, copper, steel, which are considered as a conductor. So what is the definitions? Those substances, otherwise those material which allows the electricity to pass through them easily, then they are called as a conductor. And we have to remember using the example silver, gold, copper, steel, which are the best conductors. Now, what about the insulator? Insulator, that means there is no flow of the electric current through the material, then that material which is said as an insulator. What are the example? Rubber, glass, oil, diamond, dry wood. These all materials are the insulators. So almost what we can say, most of the non-metals like glass, porcelain, plastic, nylon, wood, which are offer high resistance to passage of the electricity through them. That means we can say as a there is flow of the electric current which is nearly equal to the zero. That means which is having high resistance. So the flow of the electric current which is zero. So that's why that is act as a insulator. Now semiconductors, semiconductor, that means we already in between the conductor and the insulator, the properties between the insulators and the conductor, then that kinds of material we can say as a semiconductor materials. And as we already know about that solar panel, which are the which is having the raw material silicon. So solar panel which are the made from the silicon material, and silicon which is nothing but which is the ultimately semiconductor materials. Now charging by the inductions. So charging by induction, that means without any touch we have to charge the one sphere, we can say as over here sphere number A and sphere B. So which are one which is the negatively charged we have to do, another one which is the positively charged using the charging by induction method. So as soon as we observe into the figure number A, there is two sphere A and B which are the close to each other. Now into the figure number B, one rod which is the positively charged. Now as we know that when two charges are the same, that means like charges, that means positive and positive, there will be the repulsion between them, and another one which is positive and another one is negative. So if both are the unlike charges, then there will be the attraction between them. So as shown in the figure B, one which is a positively charged, another one which is the negative, another one which is the negative. Why it is happening over here only negatively charged? Because this rod which is the positive, so there will the in this sphere there is the negative charge and another one which is the positively charged. Why that will be happen, this is happening? Because this is the positively, so there is only the negatively charge, because as we know that plus and minus will be added to each other. Now what are the difference between the figure number B and C? This figure number B, A and B sphere which are the in the they are in touch, there is no distance between them. Now we are going to be separate this sphere A and B. So this positively charged as well as this negatively charged, which is the as it is, as well as there is separation between that A and B. So this sphere which is the still as it is, and this is also as it is, and this rod which is as it is. Now we have to observe into the figure number D. So this rod which are the removed from them. So what will be happen? These charge which are the near to the this surface of the this surface of the figure number D, as shown into the figure sphere A, and another one which is the figure number B. The as shown in figure, the positively charged of the figure number B, which is the arranged like this surface. So what why this is happening? See, we are removing the glass. So now this is ultimately negatively charged. This is ultimately positively charged. So there is the attraction between them. No doubt there will be the something space, but they are the attract to each other. So into the surface of the sphere A, there is the negatively charged arranged like the surface like this, and another one positively charged into the figure sphere B, so that is as a arranged like this one. Now we are separating them some more distance. Then what will be happen? There is no force. That means the as soon in figure number E, into the sphere A, the negatively charged which are the free, and they are the equally distributed throughout the this whole sphere, and as well as into the figure sphere B, the positively charged which are also equally distributed throughout the whole sphere. So according to this method, one sphere which is the totally negatively charged and another sphere which is the totally positively charged. Hence, so using the using this charging by induction method, there is no physical contact between this negatively positively rod and this sphere. So charging by this method, which is the very important. Now we have one example in from the textbook. How can you charge the metal sphere positively without touching it? We don't have to touch that sphere. So here we have to understand that concept using the figure. We can got all the idea about that one. Here we have to make the positively charged sphere without any touching. So into the figure number A, we are considering one sphere. Now into the figure number B, one rod which is the negatively charged. Then what will be happen? There is the positively charged of the sphere which is arranged like this one. Why? As we know that this is negative, so obviously over here under the surface of this side that will be positive, another side that will be the negative. So now we only require the positively charged. So what we have to do? We have to use the ground. So because of the ground connections of this sphere, this negatively charged which are the ground to the wire. Now still into the figure number D, this sphere which are still in the like attracted like this one, that means negatively charged, this is positively charged. But once we are removing this rod, as shown in figure number A, these positively charged which are the equally distributed over the sphere, and we can observe into the figure number B. And has using this method, charging by inductions method, we can say, so we can make a positively charged without any touching. Now we can also make the negatively charged of this sphere without the touching. What we have to do, only we have to consider this will be the positive. So what will be happen, this will be positive, so over here there is a negative charge, over here there is a positively charged. So the positively charged which are the grounded, that's why here the only the negative charge which is the remaining, this is same as a positively charged. Then after the removing this positively rod from the sphere, then there is only negatively charged of the sphere. So that's why using the charging by induction method without any touching, we can make one sphere which is the positively charged, another one which is the negatively charged. Now, what are the basic property of the electric charge? So mainly, as we already some basic informations about the electric charges. So we have only mainly two types of the charges. The name of the charges which is the positively charged and negatively charged. Now, as well as their effects tend to be cancelled to each other. If these definitions, which is the very important definitions for us, if the size of the charge body which are the very small as compared to the distance between them, then we treat them as a point charge. This is the important definitions for the whole chapter. What do you mean by the point charge? So point charge, that means if the sizes of the charge body which are the very small as compared to the distance between them, then that charge we have to consider as a point charge. And another point which is also have we have to remember that all charges content of the body is assumed to be concentrated at one point in space. Now, what are the properties of the electric charges? So electric charges which are the additivity of charges. That means if a system contains two point charge, let's say Q1 and Q2, then the total charge of the system is obtained simply by the adding these two charges. That means Q1 plus Q2. Now, if the system contains n charges, let we can say as the charges of the system Q1, Q2, Q3 dash 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 Qn. Then the total charge of the system is Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus dash 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 Qn. Then another one is charge is conserved. So as we already discussed, when the bodies are charged by the rubbing, then there is a transfer of electron from one body to another one. So no new charges are either created or destroyed. So when we rub two bodies, what happens? One body gains into the charge and another body is loses. So that means charge is conserved. There is no new charge are created or destroyed. That is ultimately transferred from the one to the another one. That means we can say the charge is conserved. Now, quantizations of the charge. As we know that experimentally, it is established that all free charge are integral multiplications of the basic unit charge, and that is denoted by small e. Thus, the charge q on a body is always given by q is equal to n into e, and that means any integer. So for the as well as now by the conversion, like for the simplifications and for the easy understanding, over here as charge which is considered as a charge on the electron which is taken as a negative, and therefore charge on an electron which is written as a minus e, and charge on a proton which is considered as a plus e. Now what is the value of the plus e and minus e? So E, which is nothing but the 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb, and for the remembrance of the our scientist Coulombs, he gives this the unit of the electric charges. So the Coulomb SI unit of the electric charge, which is the Coulomb, and it is denoted by capital C also as a SI unit. So the value of the basic unit of the charge, which is E, is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 Coulomb, and as well as there is a microcoulomb as well as millicoulomb. If the 1 microcoulomb, that will be is equal to what? 10 raised to minus 6 coulomb, and if 1 millicoulomb, that means 10 raised to minus 3 coulomb. Now, Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law is a statement about the force between 2 point charges. So let we have to understand using this figure. We have 2 point charge, one which is denoted as a blue color and another one point charge which is shown as a Q2 and red color. The distance between these two charges, which are the small r. So now what will be happen as the coulombs? He said that the coulombs measure the force between 2 point charges and found that it varied inversely as a square of the distance between the charges and was directly proportional to the product of the magnitude of two charges and acted along the line joining of the two charges. So now we have to represent as a mathematically, as he said that. So let's assume that we have 2 point charge Q1 and Q2, which are the separated by something distance r in a vacuum, and the magnitude of the force F between them, which is represent as he stated that F directly proportional to the product of the two charge, that means Q1 dot Q2, and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, that means F directly proportional to 1 divided by r square. Now we are combining these two equations. So what will be happen? F directly proportional to Q1 Q2 divided by r square. Now we have to remove the proportionality constant. Then K will be come. So F is equal to K Q1 Q2 divided by r square, and this is our most important equation number 1, where K, that is known as a proportionality constant, and K is equal to, we can say, as a 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught, where epsilon naught, which is nothing but the, that is the permittivity of the vacuum, and the value of the epsilon naught or a permittivity of the vacuum is equal to 8.854 into 10 raised to minus 12 coulomb square, Newton raised to minus 1, meter raised to minus 2. Then also the value of the K, if we are putting this epsilon naught value over here, the value of the K will be also come. So K is equal to 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton meter square per coulomb square. Now here there will be one MCQ of the, if they are asking many MCQ into the Gujarat examinations, board examinations. So what about the unit of the epsilon naught and K? So for the easy understanding, here we are considering the equations according to our Coulomb's law. F is equal to K Q1 Q2 divided by R square. Now F, that means that is our force. The unit of the force, that will be Newton. That is our Newton. Now, as we already discussed, the Q1 and Q2, which is these are our electric charges. The SI unit of these electric charges is Coulomb. So Coulomb dot Coulomb is equal to Coulomb square. As we already know, distance between the 2 point charges, so we are considering as a some distance, so that's why that will be the meter square. Now over here we have to obtain the equations for the K, that is our constant. So what will be happen for the K as it is, that means this is our Newton coulomb square, sorry, Newton into meter square per coulomb square. So that's why K unit, that will be easy using these equations. Now, as we know that K is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. So what will be happen? K direct, we can say as a K directly proportional to the 1 divided by epsilon naught. Once we obtain the value, obtain this value of the K, the unit will be directly inversely. So what will be happen? Epsilon naught, that is equal to coulomb square per Newton into meter square. So we don't have to remember, actually we can derive using these equations easily. So now we suppose there is some example like we need to find out the force between the 2 point charges. So suppose they are giving over here 1 point charge Q1, 1 coulomb, another one Q2, which is also 1 coulomb, and distance between the point charge, which is R, is equal to 1 meter. Then we need to use which equations? We need to using the F is equal to K Q1 Q2 divided by R square. So as we know that the value of the K of the constant 9 into 10 raised to 9 Q1, that means 1 coulomb, Q2, which is also 1 coulomb, divided by R square, which is 1 square. That means what will be the value for the F? F is equal to the 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton. Now, in the next section, in the part 2, we have to discuss about the vector notations of the Coulomb's law. So, using the vector notations, we have to derive the equations for the Coulomb's. Okay. So, into the I request you over here, please subscribe this channel for the upcoming new lectures and the series of this different chapters of the physics.